going to discuss the features in BASIC. And another logistic I want to discuss or let you know before we get started is if you have any question, on the right hand side of your screen, you should see an option to chat. So you could ask your questions, and I have my team here, Dattu and Tamim. They will be answering your questions live. And if the question is little more than if it takes more time to, or if it's a question that needs a longer discussion and explanation, we would schedule a time and we'll work with you on that. Are we all good? Wonderful. So we're going to go with a high-level overview of GSuite, features of business and enterprise, followed by a demo, and we'll open up for questions. As we all know, GSuite has created one of the most powerful search engine, and it has like 3 offerings in GSuite. That is GSuite Business Enterprise Edition and Basic Business and Enterprise Edition. The one unique thing about Basic and Enterprise Edition is it provides unlimited storage options, so you'll be always have enough space for your files. And the wonderful part is the centralized administration, which also come with data loss prevention and Vault for drives. You can easily manage users and file sharing and conduct meetings. And GSuite is the only suite of intelligent app designed to bring teams closer so that you can move faster and grow bigger than your competition. I would like to call it as a true collaboration platform that can be leveraged by any team size. What GSuite Business offers is enterprise class file sync and share, which is nothing but Google Drive, Google Cloud Search, which is one of my favorites. I'm going to talk in detail in further slides. eDiscovery and compliance, which gives you an option to the data archival solution, backup and archival solution, device management, and rapid app dev platform. In addition, with enterprise, you have enterprise class meet data loss protection known as DLP, advanced control, customization, and extendability. All right, moving on next. The most important feature that is leveraged by all phases of business are Google storage. Both business and enterprise options give you like unlimited storage where you can store Google Photos files and any kind of slides or any kind of data you would like. Unlimited storage basically makes it very simple and easy to manage. I'm sure this is the most exciting. And now that we are clear about the unlimited storage, One exciting thing you should know about is you do not, earlier we used to worry about setting up quotas for storage, wondering when we'd run out of storage and if you're going to get charged. But the beautiful part is you do not have to worry about quotas, neither you have to worry about getting billed, because everything is taken care by GSuite. Moving on, next is the team drive. I especially like the team drive because team drive gives you a platform to work on where uh, it saves a lot of time, and it's a beautiful tool for collaboration. When you set up, you have an option to set up multiple team drives, and you imagine if you're working on a project and you have a set of a team or who should be having access to sensitive information or any kind of information that people are working, then this is a very time-saving solution. You can share drive and assume that everyone on the team can have control. In addition, you also have an option what kind of file access you want to give to your team. Team Drive is a shared space where teams can easily store, search, and access their files anywhere from any device. Unlike for files in My Drive, files in Team Drive belong to the team instead of an individual. Even if members leave, the files stay exactly where they are. So your team can continue to share information and get work done. So this means you're saving a lot of time, and you're avoiding unnecessary, unrequired communication or losing on employees' time waiting for access or waiting for file. It's all there, all. And the wonderful part with G Suite is people can work on the same file at the same time, so collaboration becomes even more easy. Drive stream, drive file stream gives you access to include more than 40 types of files, where you can access the files anywhere in the world with any device. It gives you the ability to take backups of local systems to Google Drive and can access from anywhere already. In addition, one feature I want to highlight is Google Drive also gives you an option to work offline. What I mean by offline is if you're traveling and if you choose to work while you're in an aircraft or where you may or may not have internet connection, you could get into the settings and just offline your data, and you could start working offline. And this option is available both in basic, business, and enterprise. So it gives you an option working without internet connection. So that these apps, as you already know, Google Sheets, word processing documents, these are comparable with Microsoft Office. And the beautiful part with G Suite is it comes with centralized administration, and in addition, it gives you an option for both for discovery and archival. So this also enables transparency in the organization, helping a better work culture. Moving on to granular access to sharing files and control. What I mean by that is Google gives you an access or the ability to have complete control on the files and folders that you would like to share. In your organization, if you decide that a particular department should have access, say, edit access to certain file, and another department have view only, and another department have a common uh, access. So all this is possible with GSuite, and the security is it's world class, and it is comparable with any enterprise level application. Moving on next, talking about access control, the next question that comes is file auditing and reporting, which is simply awesome. It has a simple report and audit key file related activities. So every activity of each file can be monitored. You could configure alerts. You could have any critical event if, for example, an external file, if a file is shared externally outside the domain, you could set an alert. You could also set an alert, and setting an alert is good, but you could go beyond that, and for certain files you could also uh, craft a rule where you could say if this particular file goes out of the organization, just block it. So you can write certain rules. I would cover that in DLP further. So now that we know about what Google has to offer from a office kind of tools and collaboration kind of tools, it also has uh, options like security, audit reporting, alerting, and it goes much beyond that, and provides a marketplace, third-party applications, and APIs that could integrate and customize. So at this point, the question I would ask if I was already using is, am I using all the options to leverage over what Google is offering? So, so at this point, I would like to answer that by saying you don't have to worry if you're using GSuite of any version, and if you need any further training or a review, feel free to give us a call or just leave a message on brio.co.in with the chat message saying that this is what we're using and we want to know if we are using all the options, are we getting the business value for our investment. This would be a free review of your environment, and our professionals, certified professionals, will stop by and give you all the tips and tricks how you could leverage on all the features that G Suite offers, and enable your employees, enable your business to grow further than your competition. So at this point, you should ask yourself, what kind of files do you have at your work? Are they secured? So, like, do you need any? Do you already have control through the administration? If not, we can help you do that. If you're already doing, wonderful. So this is very important features that help you maintain your data the way it has to be maintained. And for some businesses, where it is very critical how you retain your data, how you share your data, it becomes a compliance issue. And if you're working around getting certified or getting compliant, Google has tons of certifications and compliance done for the tools that it offers. So feel free to reach out and we'll get in more details as we get further into it. Google Cloud Search. This is one amazing heck of a tool. I would love to talk in detail, but I'll just keep it to high level because my colleague Tamim is going to give you a demo how Google search can help you at work. When we say Google search, uh, it is nothing different than how you generally do a Google search on web. But the same application, the same intelligence have been integrated into the application uh, where you could search with an exception that Google has taken a precaution or it has the algorithms or the rules in place where it will search only the data that the user has access. So at this point, you should ask yourself, are you spending a lot of time searching for information uh, that you're looking to work on different projects? How do you have your content or how do you have your information about different projects organized? If it's not a big problem. Google Cloud Search would really make it easy. Google also goes one step ahead and it not only searches the content, what you're looking for, it also searches for people. If you're looking for, say, for example, you're working between many projects. And of course, not everybody, at least in my case, I don't remember everybody's name in my organization because sometimes it's very difficult to remember hundreds of names. And sometimes you know the person, but you cannot relate it to them with a face. So Google gives you an option of searching by people. For example, if you're working with, say, Mike or say Tom or say any name you can think of, you could just go to Google search and type his name and see if you know that guy. Maybe you have already worked. Uh, you have already worked with the person, and it will also bring up related. It will bring up related files, related emails. Probably you have shared few emails. So this puts you in a very wonderful position because now when you get into the meeting, you know the person, you also know in which projects you work. So it doesn't, it again enables the culture, the team, the closeness, and brings that collaboration and the artificial. You could leverage on the artificial intelligence instead of stressing your mind about where you have met this person or what projects you have worked. At least for me, I can't remember all the projects I've worked with everyone. So that this is an awesome feature. So all in all, if I have to summarize what Google Search is, Google Search gives you a company-wide search ability. It helps you search emails, documents, calendars, and other services. So you can exactly know how your relationship with the person or with the project is or was. E-discovery and compliance. E-discovery and compliance entails GSuite Vault. And GSuite, what if you're wondering what is GSuite Vault? GSuite Vault lets you retain, hold, search, and export data to support your organization archival and e-discovery needs. Vault supports like email messages, chat, Google Groups, files, Google Drives, conversations in Hangouts, and recording, Hangout meeting recording. However, Hangout meeting recording is limited to enterprise version. Vault is entirely web-based, so you don't have to worry about installing or maintaining any software. Vault is included with G Suite Enterprise and Business both. When I say Vault, it is just like a vault you can think of. It safely secures your data, and beyond that, it gives you options like search, export, and keep you compliant if you're having an like if you every industry has different compliance requirement. So if you have, for example, banking has a compliance requirement to have data archived for 7 years. So that's taken care by a simple rule. So and after 7 years, it could just go ahead and delete or archive whatever the company policy. Just imagine if you had to do the same thing manually, going back, deciding what data has to be saved or not saved, and later go back and delete. It could take a lot of time and labor, and it could be stressful. And another thing it offers is if you get into any kind of litigation where you have access to the data, so the litigations can be easily resolved by going back and looking to data, and it saves different versions of files, and archivals are in place, so you don't have to worry about how things can be resolved in terms of compliance and litigation. Earlier, earlier we had to worry about like how your emails or documents are used by the employees. Of course, for many businesses, whether it be profit, non-profit, or enterprise, small to medium, data today is critical. And when I say data is critical, you got to protect your data, well, whether it be internal or external. At some time, it becomes so if you're in a situation where you assume that data or any of the company resources are being compromised, so and you're not sure, Google also gives you a legal uh, an option that's called like legal hold. It gives the legal team a self-control tool for searching certain data uh, without even the user knowing what it is. So it doesn't put you in an awkward situation. Neither it hampers or jeopardize the situation if the user or the party you're working is not even guilty of anything. So you could select any data, any content, any email for legal hold, and it is completely audited, and so it's part of the process, so everything falls in place. So here are the options you have for quick and easy legal discovery, which gives you option where you can search, who can search, export, audit, file. You can go by department. We have already just discussed about how banking or any other insurance or say hospital industry or any industry you can think of can have different policies, which might have different data retention policies that can be placed. At this point, you should ask yourself, as a businessman, as an employee, or anybody dealing with corporate rules for your own organization, how do you do your data retention? Do you have any policy in place? Like, do you need your data to be there for X number of years? Is it a legal requirement? What if you get question about certain data? Do you have it for like X number of years? So this is something you should think of. And if you're not already leveraging over these options, you should go ahead and do it. And as a chat transcripts, even the chat transcripts can be saved for any kind of investigation with customer support or any of your clients. This is very useful to refer back. Suppose you get into a project and you don't know what was your discussion. You could go back, always refer back to what was your conversation with the concerned individual. Next, moving on to device management insights. This feature is especially useful when you have your staff checking emails or using your office applications on mobile. You could have employees who are working from home or employees who are working from office and traveling like halfway at work and halfway in office or traveling. So in this scenario or in any scenario, they use mobile devices for emails or applications or for work. So this device management insight gives you a very clear insight about how an individual is using the device. So this could be a very effective way of identifying if everything is in compliance with your email and internet policies. And these devices can be managed through Device Insight. For example, if you have, of course, every level of employees have different kind of data. For example, if you have some critical data on a mobile device, and if that gets lost, do you have control to wipe out all the data? If you already have, good. If you don't, the Device Insight gives you an option where you do not have to worry if the device gets stolen or lost. You could easily track the device and erase everything that's on the device. And in addition, you could go further and have policies in place where you can control what apps can be installed and like manage it according to the company's policies. And a bigger picture, if I have to summarize in a very few words, you have a complete visibility on how devices are used, and you have a better manageability, both from a compliance and a cost perspective. Suppose if you have few employees who have devices, and from this graphs and analysis, you know they're not using it, you'd rather you take those devices and give it to some other employees. So that brings a better ROI on your investments. Moving on to the next option that Google Business has is App Maker. App Maker is one wonderful device, a new low-code application development tool for GSuite that lets organizations quickly build and develop customized application tailored for the need. What I mean by that is you need very little coding to have automate any manual process, or you want a little piece of some workload to be built. You could do it without knowing much of coding. Or an other thing that you could do is automate a few manual processes that you may have. That this is, in other words, if I have to put it as people who do not have a lot of coding experience, but still want to have a magical mind about how they could simplify things by simply dragging and dropping. This is not an alternate for coding, but this is definitely helpful if you independently want any application or a business process to be automated. Moving on to next is enterprise class meeting. All right. When I say enterprise class meeting, it is nothing but our own Google Hangout Meets. Google Hangout Meets is an amazing tool that helps teammates, clients, customers around the globe to collaborate and get the job done. With Google business version, you can have up to 50 participants, and with the enterprise version, you can have about 100 people online, and they can access through. If they're already having any limitations with your current tools, like accessing through a computer, Google Hangout gives you a flexibility of joining any meeting through your mobile phone using the wonderful apps, and it is tightly integrated with your Gmail and other GSuite apps. It also helps you better manage your the physical meeting rooms where you could where it's easier for any individual in your organization to know if a meeting room is already occupied. It would show occupied, and it would like help the team better collaborate and better use office resources. Now, the bigger question to ask is, how do you conduct your meeting currently? If you already have Hangouts and if you're using everything, nothing to worry. Uh, if not, that there is something you can explore, dive into Hangouts and explore into plenty of options where it gives you options to have uh, video conferencing and also have it recorded. And in few cases, this could be a compliance requirement. And if it is a compliance requirement, uh, yes, you already have, you can store, you can write a policy to store like how long you want certain recording to be stored. Moving on to next, we got DLP, which is data loss protection. This is most important, and in today's world, most needed. Data loss prevention is nothing but an additional protection that you have. Data loss prevention is a set of policies, processes, and tools that prevents the organization from losing sensitive, important information. Data loss can occur due to number of factors such as natural disasters that discover physical services, hardware failures, human errors, or malicious attacks. So now that we know we are prone to all this, depending upon your business requirement, you could go ahead and customize your policies. DLP gives you an option of like defining your own policy, or Gmail data loss protection lets you use predefined content detector when scanning inbound and outbound emails. Google specifies uh, rules and policies according to the industry standards, and in most cases, policies like prevention to credit card information, or if you're dealing with some hospital kind of scenario, uh, the policies around social security, customer sensitive information, or passport details, or any other sensitive information. They're already predefined detectors. And of course, they have their own weightage. What I mean by weightage is not everything is like rated at once. You could customize the policy depending upon if the default policy is not up to what you're looking for. you could go ahead and tweak in a little bit or add your own policy. Like a standard Gmail content compliance settings, you can use DLP detector to trigger automatic responses. This includes quarantine, rejection, so it gives you an artificial intelligence integration where without any manual intervention, these emails can be quarantined, rejected, or modified and replied back with a message. So this saves a lot of your time and keeps your organization protected. You can also combine predefined detectors with keywords of your own with any regular expressions that could be simple or more sophisticated depending upon your individual requirement. So this is another important layer in enterprise that keeps your data uh, a level more like you, if you're wondering, it goes a step ahead in protecting your data. So if you're wondering like if you're wondering if your data is already protected, yes, your data is already protected, but this is DLP gives you an additional option if you plan to have additional production, because at Google, your data is encrypted both at rest and in transit. In additional, you could also bring your own keys and encrypt it. Alrighty, moving on to next. If you have any requirement for archival, the third-party email archival is also possible, and Google Vault gives you that option. And this is a more higher level of security, that is SMI and SME. I don't know how to pronounce that, but this is where admins can have their data or email protected. If you're wondering, like, uh, our email server is already encrypted, yes, you're right. Is that enough? In some cases, yes. In some cases, no. Sure, encryption can be we can take one step ahead. We can go one step ahead and encrypt your emails with a digital certificate. Uh, as you already know, that even with higher security, there is always a potential of like data in transit where few servers, it could be like your data could be going routing through a different server, and that may not be protected. So in transit, you can add additional security. Okay, moving on to next. That is Google Analysis and BigQuery. Google Analysis and BigQuery. All right, sorry, I paused because we are almost, my team is basically giving me a hint that gone over beyond the time what I was allotted. I will quickly summarize few important stuff here for enterprise version and hand it over to Tamim, who will be walking us through the demos. So talking about BigQuery and how Gmail, I'll give you a couple of examples how you could be having a lot of data in your organization. So like, for example, you could be having like tons and thousands of customers and working with them for years. And the data is lying in your inbox or maybe somewhere. So you can you could leverage over big data and use the data to analyze like who do you work with, and if you're working with certain clients, or if you're collaborating at a different levels, like a lot of emails, chat, or cross domain uh, team drive work. So you could simply whitelist those customers so that the collaboration becomes even more easier. The possibilities of those emails getting into any kind of spam inbox or losing some information it becomes uh, it's completely not a possibility. So basically, it makes your work between two cross domains with your clients and work seamlessly. So but these data can be analyzed, and you could decide like at what pace, at what degree you're working with which client on what projects. So this is amazing how you could leverage of big data. Maybe this is something about your own company, you know it, and but you do not know how to prioritize. And this is possible by using your own data and processing it through BigQuery and prioritize how you would work. And this is an additional security option. Like if you want a physical key to be like integrated with the devices that you work with, yes, this can be bought to make it even more secure. Whitelisting, I'm going to skip it because we've already discussed like how we could use whitelisting or for our business advantage and to increase the collaboration with the with the teams we work with. Deep scanning, I'm going to skip this as well because deep scanning is something we have discussed already in detail in the previous slide where we spoke about security. And now I guess it's time to give it to Tamim. Please feel free to reach out to us. And I've already, in my next slide, I'll be sharing my email. Uh, that's my email. That's Tamim's email. And I'm handing over to Tamim. While Tamim is getting ready, I would still emphasize to feel free to reach out to us. Let us know what you think about this webinar and help us understand how we can help you. This webinar is more focused towards educational, and we want our partners, customers, and prospective customers to leverage on everything what we got, because this is exactly the vision of Google, where Google is going beyond beyond everything, I should say, to integrate all its inventions, all its findings, all its artificial intelligence into each and every application. Including, I was really happy to see even in Basic, even Google Basic, you have a lot of AI, it guesses what you want to say, it helps you type, auto type, or it gives you words when you're trying to craft an email. And you could also voice your typing. And there's much more if you dig deeper. And I apologize because I'm sure I've not completed everything because it's practically not possible. But this is nothing to worry. Just give us a call or go to brio.co.in, leave your number, email. You could be a manager, you could be a businessman, or you could be an employee who has the aspiration to learn more or leverage more over what GSuite has to offer. This is a free of charge service. We would come down, we'll meet you, and we'll help you make most of GSuite. Thank you. Handing over to our friend, my colleague, an expert in GSuite, Tamim.
Hi everyone, thanks Shoaib. Let's quickly jump onto a live demo on some of the things, rather some of the interesting things which Shoaib has make us go through during his presentation. So primarily, I feel like the main differences between G Suite Basic and Business or Enterprise is the way how you search the data, the way how you protect the data as per your organization's need. So let's start with where you put your data. So it's team drives. Let's start with drive and team drive. Like when when you go into an so when you go into say when you go into your company drive, you put your data there. Like you put some confidential doc. 1 second, is my screen shared? So whenever you put any data, like any user of your organization put any data in the drive, uh, in G Suite Business, it automatically get stored in Vault. But it's not that you always want your, like say I create a new I create a new doc, and the moment I create a new doc, I can actually go and share it with anyone. I just click share, okay. Beyond G Suite, and I can even go and make it public. So, like if a marketing guy does that, like make a doc public, that's perfectly fine because he won't be having any confidential document with him, or he knows which documents to share and which document he doesn't want to share. But let's say you have a department which works on research and development, and you don't want him to share the documents outside the organization. So you wanted him to have a restriction wherein he cannot share anything outside the organization, that you won't be able to do it on G Suite Basic, because either you can say everyone should not share the documents outside the organization, or everyone should be able to share outside the organization. There's just single setting which works across the whole organization. There's no granular level control. But let's see how the granular level control works when it comes to G Suite Business and Enterprise. When the moment you go to admin console apps, and under apps if you go to G Suite, you will find ton of apps which are in G Suite core services, and we are interested in Google Drive. And here when you come to Drive and Docs, so the moment when we come to Drive and Docs, in our regular G Suite Basic, when you go to sharing settings, you would not see the filter for organizational units, which you are able to see on the left in G Suite Basic. So if you say your users can share the files outside the organization, and they can even make it public, you cannot override it for other organization. When you say they can share, everyone will be able to share. But here in this case I have said, like, users in my organization can even make the files public. If you see here, can even publish the files on the web. But at the same time, I want the people in R&D department not to share anything public. So what I'll do is I'll just go to this organization and say, okay, these the people who are in R&D, all the files should be private. They cannot share anything outside the organization, and I can override it. So when we say you have granular level access of the file sharing and controls in G Suite Business or Enterprise, This is the granular level access you have. And when you go to team drive, and you can even set permissions for team drive, like who can create a team drive, who has full access, and who doesn't, like who can share the content, who cannot share the content, who can just contribute to the content. So this is about drive and team drive settings, like when it comes to drive granular level access. But at the same time, it's not just about creating the content, dumping the content, or accessing the content, or like giving controls over the content. But you even wanted to have a detailed level logs in a regular G Suite Basic. When you go into reports and log, what you will just see is how many files a particular user owns and how many of them are public and private. You will be just able to see that message or that report details. But when we say you have granular level reporting besides control, when we say reporting, let's go to the reporting in Drive. You can see each and every action of a user, all the users in the organization, like what they have done. Like just now I have created an item called beyond. It was like when I have created the document, it was like untitled document, and I have renamed it to beyond G Suite, and I have changed its sharing setting from no one can access to can everyone can view, and I have changed the visibility settings from private to public. You have the detailed granular level log of all the files and all the changes that have been done on your organization. And it's not that when you say you have all the file changes, like you wanted to filter it out based on the organizational unit. Let's say I'm more interested about the file changes, file level changes happening on R&D department or the marketing department. I can just choose and filter that out. And let's say there is a document called I wanted to view only the details about like which files are downloaded within my organization. And then say I'm more interested about an item called confidential doc, or just say confidential. And if anything with the word confidential has been downloaded, yeah, I can see there's an item called confidential doc, and this has been downloaded by the user John on June 4 11:05 a.m. So let's see. And it's not just that I can go and look into the what he has downloaded and all, but even if I want to set custom alerting on it, like say someone has downloaded the document, I as an administrator, like I can even set alerts. Like if this file has been downloaded or edited, what should be the event name? If it's edited or if it's printed, if it's viewed, I should receive an email. I can do that. Let's see, like, okay, I as a user go and download this document. My administrator wants to receive an email whenever I download this document. Say I have downloaded this document, and immediately a trigger will alert. Say 11, now a trigger got alerted. This user has downloaded an item which is like a confidential doc. Like you can set it for anything. And let's quickly jump into like this is about creating the content, protecting it, finding it in the logs. But what you wanted to search for that document whenever you need it, like in G Suite Basic, what you do is like if you wanted to search for email, you go and search it in your Gmail. If you wanted to look for a document that has been shared with you, you go and share that, search that in Drive. But you don't have a console single place to search for the document. So here that thing is addressed using cloud search. Like you go to cloudsearch.google.com, or you can simply just go to the cloud search icon over here. So it will give you like there's not much content in my demo account. That's why you are not able to see that, but it will give you the document details on which you are working on. Like let's see uh, how the cloud search work. It's a Google search. It's same as Google search for your organization, as you have mentioned. Like let's say I wanted to look for something called GST. I just typed GST. I don't know like what it was. Like when I say GST, it will bring in it will search all the details. Like say there's a document which has a word called GST and the GST number. There's a PDF document which mentions about GST. In fact, there's a knowledge based site created, Google site, which has a mention of my company GST details. So it even searches the intranet or the knowledge based sites. And there's an email which has say, can you please send me your organization GST details? So it sends me that emails. And like it goes to an extent wherein there's a calendar invitation with event details mentioning we need to discuss about the GST implementation and quarterly review. So it brings me up that calendar invitation, and I'm more interested into the mails which has the word GST. So I can further granular it by going to mail, drive, and I have search tools which I can say anytime what time you wanted to filter the result and type of files and all. So it's really very easy when you wanted to look for the file and you don't have an idea where the information is lying, and this acts as a central place to search for the files. And let's quickly jump uh, onto the reporting part we have completed. And anything else? Like in the respect of time, I think we are just left with 1 more minute, so I don't wanted to jump into another section here. I really wanted to show you the how Google Vaults work, but let me quickly summarize and on an very big business use case. Like when I go and meet to our clients and they say what's backup and what's backup solution you use for your end users desktops, and they point me to some local products, or most of the time they don't have. Like when with GSuite business or enterprise, you have literally unlimited space at your disposal, and there are applications like Google Drive file stream and backup and sync, which you can enforce on your end user's machine. And when you install, it actually creates, like say there's a drive file stream in my machine, and when I click on drive file stream, when I go to drive file stream, it actually creates a virtual drive in my machine, and whatever I put in my virtual drive does gets backed up to Google Drive. Let's say uh, mm, let me just put this is a Firefox installation file. I wanted to have this. I just dragged and dropped onto in my drive. Let's replace. Okay, I just drag and drop a Firefox installation file on my system, and the moment it gets uploaded, it will be even available on my Google Drive. And the best part is like it doesn't just keeps it online, but it intelligently keep your file online and offline both if you happen to access it more often. But it's not that you don't have access of keeping like this the when you see a cloud icon beside the file's name, it means those all are backed up on cloud and it's not available locally. But say I'm going to use this installation file more often, and every time when I wanted to use it, I doesn't want it to get downloaded from internet. So I can just click go to the drive file stream options, and I can say make it available offline, and it will be always available offline for me and will be available online as well. And in G Suite Business and Enterprise, you have Google Vault. So whatever data that is being backed up over here using Drive file stream is all like, let me take you to Drive, and let's say in my Drive, okay, you can see all my files, whatever were there, are getting still backed up here, or I can see all my files over here as well. And it's not that see, this is the Firefox installation file which I have uploaded it here. And let's say as an user, I just mistakenly, like there's an certificate file for my GCP account, and I have deleted that. And this is an important account. This is an important file for me. Let's say I have even deleted it from my trash. There's no way I can recover it, right? But with G Suite Business, you get Google Vault out of the box. Like, and as an administrator, you can always go and recover those files from Vault. I'll not show you how to get it recovered, but you can always go create a matter and get it recovered. Sorry for delaying or prolonging it for 3 minutes. So I'll take a lead now and handing it over to Shoaib for the closing notes and questions. Okay, over to you, Shoaib.
Thank you, Tamim. That was so informative. And I really want to thank everyone who have been patient enough to listen. And I am really happy about this hour. This hour has been very informative in every aspect. I hope you guys liked it. And please do not hesitate to reach out to us by email or phone. You could always go to brio.co.in and just leave your information, and we'll get in touch with you. And I want you guys to know this is a purely educational webinar, and we are here to promote more uh, knowledge and more better use of GSuite applications. And we have certified engineers sitting here at your leverage. So if nothing, what I'm leaving you guys today is with at your fingertips, you have professionals waiting who are ready to help you. All you have to do is ask. You ask, and our educational initiative, we will also go to the length of conducting any seminars at your location, at your office, or we could work that out if you have a smaller team who wants to come visit our office in Hyderabad, Chennai, or Bangalore, and we are coming up with more locations. So I'm really happy that you guys were very active on asking questions. If the questions have been not asked, if you guys, some of you are still planning to ask, it's still open. You could reach out to us. I'm repeating again, brio.co.in. And before I leave you, I want to empower you with another piece of information that is cloud.google.com. If you have any questions, Google has a very comprehensive, very clear uh, content and tools and trainings, and cloud.google.com for anything in Google arena. Thank you, everyone, and goodbye until I see you next. Thank you.